First contact and fatal miscalculation. The Dominion Alliance's survey vessel emerged from quantum space at the edge of Sol system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in impossible patterns. Senior observer Zurich stood at the command deck, his 4 eyes narrowing at the holographic display of the unremarkable yellow star and its planets. The third world caught his attention. A swirling blue-green marble that didn't match any of their predictions. "Impossible," he muttered, mandibles clicking in agitation. The probability matrices indicated this system would be devoid of advanced life for another millennium. The ship's sensors painted a different picture. Radio waves saturated space around the planet, along with artificial satellites and primitive space stations. A developing civilization, barely past its planetary bounds, yet advancing at an alarming rate. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy for 50,000 years through careful cultivation and control of emerging species. Their method was simple: contact civilizations early, guide their development along approved paths, and seamlessly integrate them into the hierarchy. Species discovered too late often developed unfortunate independent streaks. "Send word to the High Council," Zurich commanded. "We have an anomaly requiring immediate attention." The High Council's response came swiftly. Humanity would be contacted, assessed, and appropriately guided into the Dominion's embrace. The fact that they had developed independently for so long was concerning, but surely such a young race would be grateful for the Dominion's benevolent oversight. They could not have been more wrong. When the Dominion's diplomatic fleet arrived in Earth orbit 6 months later, humanity's response shocked them. Instead of awe or fear, Earth's unified government responded with measured politeness and careful questions. They accepted the Dominion's invitation to join galactic society, but their questions were troublingly specific about FTL technology, energy generation, and weapons capabilities. High Commander Villara, resplendent in her ceremonial armor, stood before the United Earth Council in New Geneva. Her translator rendered her harmonic speech into flat human words. "Your species shows remarkable potential," she announced. "Under our guidance, you will find your proper place in the grand design of the galaxy." The human representatives nodded and smiled, but their eyes remained cold and calculating. They accepted the Dominion's gifts of basic FTL technology and power generation systems with gratitude that seemed just slightly too practiced. What the Dominion couldn't know, was that humanity had detected their survey vessels years ago. Earth's quantum observation posts, carefully hidden in dimensional pocket space, had recorded and analyzed every aspect of Dominion technology. By the time official first contact occurred, human scientists had already reverse-engineered most of their basic systems and developed countermeasures. The Dominion's oversight continued for 5 years. They watched with satisfaction as humanity built their first FTL ships using gifted technology, established their first extrasolar colonies, and began trading with other client species. Everything proceeded according to the grand design. Then the reports began coming in. Seemingly impossible advances in human technology. Ships that moved too fast, weapons that shouldn't exist, energy readings that defied Dominion physics. The High Council dismissed these as observational errors or exaggerations. "They are children playing with toys we gave them," High Commander Villara assured the Council. "Their development proceeds exactly as planned." Deep in classified human facilities, the reality was very different. The quantum processors humans had developed in secret were light years beyond Dominion technology. Their understanding of dimensional mechanics and energy manipulation had already surpassed their benefactors. Most importantly, they had discovered fundamental flaws in the Dominion's technological foundation, flaws that could be exploited. The first hint of trouble came when a Dominion patrol disappeared near Alpha Centauri. Then another vanished in the TAS-CD system. The High Council finally began to worry when a major fleet base went dark without a single distress call. When they sent investigators, they found only debris fields and encrypted quantum signatures they couldn't decode. Humanity had spent 5 years preparing, building, and waiting. They had mapped every Dominion weakness, every vulnerability in their systems, every flaw in their tactical doctrine. When the human fleet finally revealed itself, it would not be as supplicants or clients, but as equals who would no longer tolerate the Dominion's benevolent oppression. The High Council, gathering in emergency session, received a simple message broadcast on all frequencies. The children have outgrown their toys. The time for guidance is over. As alarms blared through the Dominion's capital, the council members looked at each other in dawning horror. They had made a fundamental error in their calculations. They had forgotten that some species, when backed into a corner, don't submit. They fight back. The silent counterstrike. The Dominion's capital world of Nexus Prime churned with frenzied activity. Emergency meetings cascaded through the crystalline spires of the High Council chambers as reports of human aggression flooded in from across controlled space. High Commander Valaris stood before the assembled council, her usual composure cracking under the weight of recent events. The humans have revealed advanced quantum-shifted battleships in 6 different sectors, she reported, her translator struggling to keep the tremor from her harmonic speech. They're not using any technology we provided them. These are wholly original designs, operating on principles our scientists barely understand. The council chamber erupted in overlapping harmonics of distress. A junior member, his scales shifting to anxious purple, raised his voice above the chaos. How did we miss this level of technological development? Our observation protocols were useless, interrupted Council Elder Xarthos, his ancient eyes narrowing. The humans knew we were watching. Everything they showed us was carefully orchestrated deception. Across the galaxy, humanity's true fleet emerged from quantum shadows. Their ships bore little resemblance to the crude vessels they'd built under Dominion supervision. These were sleek predators, their hulls wrapped in dimensional shifting fields that made them appear to exist in multiple spaces simultaneously. The human flagship, Prometheus, led the assault on the Dominion's primary shipyards in the Vega sector. Captain Sarah Chen stood on her command deck, watching through quantum-enhanced sensors as her fleet materialized around the massive installation. The Dominion's defensive grid, designed to stop conventional attacks, proved useless against ships operating in quantum superposition. All ships, execute strike pattern theta, Chen commanded. Remember, minimal casualties. We're here to disable, not destroy. The human fleet struck with surgical precision. Quantum-phased energy beams sliced through Dominion shields as if they didn't exist, targeting weapon emplacements and engine cores. Boarding parties, equipped with dimensional shift harnesses, bypassed security fields by briefly stepping outside normal spacetime. Within hours, the largest shipyard in the Dominion's empire had fallen without a single life lost on either side. Similar scenes played out across Dominion space. Human forces systematically disabled military installations, communication hubs, and strategic resources. They didn't destroy. They simply removed the Dominion's ability to project power or coordinate. She paused, her expression softening. But the galaxy is vast, and there are many paths to advancement. We're not here to destroy the Dominion. We're here to show you a different way. Your technology, your understanding of the universe, is built on artificial limitations. We can show you how to break free of those limitations, but first, you must accept that your way is not the only way. The Dominion's leaders, watching this transmission in their secured bunkers and command centers, faced a choice that would reshape the galaxy. Their empire had stood for 50,000 years, built on the principle of controlled advancement and technological superiority. Now, in just 5 years, humanity had not only caught up but surpassed them. As the human fleet held position around key Dominion installations, maintaining their quantum locks and dimensional barriers, the High Council prepared to make the most difficult decision in their species' history. The age of guidance was indeed over, but perhaps, just perhaps, the age of partnership was about to begin. Breaking the chains, news of humanity's technological superiority spread through the galaxy like a quantum wave, impossible to contain or control. On 1,000 worlds, Species that had lived under Dominion guidance for generations began to stir. The careful hierarchy that had maintained galactic order for 50 millennia started to crack. The Arcturian Collective was the first to openly declare their independence, a species of crystalline beings who had served as the Dominion's premier engineers for 10,000 years. They had always suspected there were better ways to manipulate quantum forces. When human scientists shared their breakthroughs in dimensional mechanics, the Arcturians' crystalline forms resonated with new possibilities. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the hastily assembled Galactic Liberation Council, a gathering of representatives from 24 species seeking freedom from Dominion control. The meeting took place on Haven, Earth's first extrasolar colony, now transformed into a neutral ground for interspecies diplomacy. "We're not here to replace the Dominion as galactic overlords," she declared, her words translated into 20 different languages simultaneously. "We're here to share knowledge, to help each species find their own path to advancement." The Skirth, insectoid beings who had been relegated to manual labor for centuries due to their primitive neural structure, revealed that they had developed their own quantum communication network by adapting their hive mind capabilities. They had hidden this achievement, knowing the Dominion would never approve of unauthorized advancement. Humanity's quantum-shifted ships now served as guardians, protecting newly independent worlds from potential Dominion reprisals. But the expected retaliation never came. Instead, something unexpected happened within the Dominion itself. On Nexus Prime, a revolution of ideas was taking place. Younger members of the Dominion species, led by Sub-Commander Telever, began questioning the fundamental principles that had guided their civilization for so long. "We built our empire on the belief that controlled advancement was the only path to stability," Telever argued before a divided High Council. "But look at what humanity achieved through independent development. Look at what the Arcturians and Skirth conceived in secret. How many other breakthroughs have we suppressed in our quest for control?" The debate raged through Dominion society. Conservative factions argued for immediate military action to restore order, while reformers pushed for a complete revaluation of their role in the galaxy. The tension reached a breaking point when a group of Dominion scientists, working in secret, successfully replicated human quantum shift technology. "It works," they reported to a stunned council. "Their principles are sound, their understanding of dimensional mechanics superior to ours. We've been wrong for 50,000 years." Meanwhile, human diplomatic teams worked tirelessly to prevent the power vacuum from descending into chaos. They established the Galactic Knowledge Exchange, a network of research centers where species could share discoveries and collaborate on new technologies. The first major breakthrough came when Arcturian crystal tech was combined with Skirth neural networks and human quantum theory, creating a new form of faster-than-light communication. Admiral Martinez, now commanding the combined fleet of independent worlds, received regular updates on the shifting political landscape. "We're walking a fine line," he commented to his multi-species command staff. "We have to provide enough security to prevent chaos, but not so much that we become what we fought against." The turning point came when the Dominion's own youth began openly rebelling against the old order. Young Dominion scientists and officials defected to independent worlds, eager to participate in unrestricted research and development. They brought with them centuries of accumulated knowledge, but more importantly, they brought a willingness to question and explore new possibilities. Elder Exarthos, watching his civilization transform from his meditation chamber, finally understood the true magnitude of humanity's victory. They hadn't just defeated the Dominion militarily. They had shattered the intellectual and philosophical foundations of their entire society. For 50,000 years, he wrote in his personal memoirs, "We thought we were nurturing civilization. Instead, we were stunting it. The humans didn't need to destroy us. They simply showed us the truth we had been hiding from ourselves." As the third month of the liberation drew to a close, representatives from 40 different species gathered on Haven to sign the Galactic Concordat. The agreement established principles of free scientific development, mutual defense, and cultural exchange. The Dominion was invited to participate, not as rulers, but as equals. The galaxy was changing, faster than anyone had anticipated. Species that had been artificially held back for generations were suddenly free to explore their full potential. The result was an explosion of creativity and innovation that would reshape civilization itself. And watching from their quantum-shifted ships, humanity stood ready, not to control or guide, but to ensure that every species had the chance to find their own path to the stars. The heart of the storm. Deep within the Dominion's core territories, a desperate plan was taking shape. Supreme Commander Vaxthor, leader of the conservative military faction, had spent months gathering loyalist forces in secret. While the political revolution swept through Dominion society, he and his followers prepared for one final attempt to restore the old order. Our ancestors did not build an empire spanning 50,000 years to watch it crumble to chaos, he declared to his assembled commanders. These humans and their allies promote dangerous ideas. Unrestricted advancement leads only to destruction. The Loyalist fleet assembled in the shadows of the Dinabola Nebula, comprising nearly a third of the Dominion's remaining military might. Vaxthor had also secretly upgraded his ships with stolen human quantum technology, though his scientists' understanding of the principles remained incomplete. On Haven, the early warning came from an unexpected source. A young Dominion scientist, Karavix, transmitted data about the Loyalist fleet's movements at great personal risk. The Galactic Liberation Council convened an emergency session as the information was confirmed. Admiral Martinez stood before the assembled representatives, his holographic form projected simultaneously to every member world. The Loyalists have gathered a significant force. Their target appears to be the knowledge exchange facilities in the Centauri sector. They mean to destroy the symbol of our cooperation. Dr. Rodriguez, now serving as Earth's representative on the Council, recognized the gravity of the situation. If they succeed, it could trigger a cascade of fear and retaliation across the galaxy. Everything we've built could unravel. The combined fleet of independent worlds mobilized with unprecedented speed. Ships of human, Arcturian, and even reformed Dominion design moved into defensive positions around the knowledge exchange. Admiral Martinez coordinated with his multi-species command staff, implementing strategies that took advantage of each species' unique capabilities. The Skirth provided real-time quantum intelligence through their hive mind network. Arcturian crystal ships formed the backbone of their defensive grid, their crystalline structures perfectly attuned to the quantum frequencies of space. Human vessels took the vanguard, their mastery of dimensional shifting giving them tactical superiority. The battle began with a massive quantum surge as Vaxthor's fleet emerged from hyperspace. Their modified ships, bristling with hybrid weapons, launched an immediate assault on the defensive lines. "They've adapted our technology," Captain Chen reported from the Prometheus, "but their implementation is flawed. They don't understand the underlying principles." The space around Centauri erupted into a display of physics-defying combat never before seen in the galaxy's history. Loyalist ships fired quantum-phased weapons that could pierce normal shields, but the defenders had already moved beyond such basic defenses. Arcturian vessels absorbed the energy attacks through their crystalline matrices, redistributing the power through the defensive grid. Human ships executed their signature quantum dance, existing in multiple states simultaneously, making them nearly impossible to target. The Skirth Coordination Network allowed the entire defensive fleet to react as a single organism, adapting instantly to every Loyalist strategy. But Vaxthor had one final card to play. His flagship carried a prototype weapon reverse-engineered from fragments of human technology, a device capable of forcing a localized collapse of quantum probability fields. If successful, it could disable the defender's advanced technology, reducing the battle to a conventional engagement where his superior numbers would prevail. "All forces, breakthrough formation," he commanded. "Target the primary exchange facility. Fire the quantum collapse device on my mark." The Loyalist fleet surged forward in a desperate spear formation. Ships fell on both sides as energy weapons, quantum beams, and conventional ordnance filled space with deadly light. The Prometheus took a direct hit, its quantum field flickering but holding. Captain Chen ordered an immediate counterattack, coordinating with Arcturian and Skirth vessels to contain the breakthrough. At the critical moment, when Vaxthor prepared to fire his superweapon, a new force entered the battle. Ships of pure light, their forms barely comprehensible to normal spacetime, appeared throughout the combat zone. The Transcendent Collective, a species so advanced the Dominion had classified them as myths, had chosen this moment to reveal themselves. We have watched. Their message resonated through the quantum network. We have waited. At last, the galaxy's children begin to grasp their true potential. We cannot allow this progress to be undone. The Loyalist fleet's weapons prove useless against the Transcendent vessels. Their quantum collapse device, when fired, simply dissipated into harmless energy. In less than an hour, the battle was over. Vaxthor's forces, faced with technology they couldn't begin to comprehend, surrendered. As the dust settled, the Transcendent Collective shared their own revelation. They had been guiding humanity's development from the shadows, not through control like the Dominion, but by subtly nurturing their natural tendency to question, explore, and innovate. Your species, they explained to the assembled council, demonstrated the potential we have waited millennia to see. You showed that advancement without control was not only possible but necessary for true civilization to flourish. The Battle of Centauri marked the end of the old order, but it also revealed that the galaxy held even greater mysteries and possibilities than anyone had imagined. The age of controlled progress was truly over. The age of unlimited potential had begun. Dawn of a new era. 1 year after the Battle of Centauri, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. The former Dominion capital of Nexus Prime now hosted the Galactic Assembly, its crystalline spires repurposed into centers of learning and cooperation. Representatives from hundreds of species, including the mysterious Transcendent Collective, gathered to shape the future of interstellar civilization. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the grand podium, addressing the largest gathering of sentient species in recorded history. Below her, beings of every conceivable form, energy constructs, crystalline entities, organic life, and even quantum consciousness, listened intently. A year ago, we fought to break free from control, she began. Today, we gather not to celebrate victory, but to embrace possibility. The Transcendent Collective has shown us that what we've achieved so far is merely the beginning. The integration of technologies and knowledge from multiple species had already produced remarkable advances. Arcturian crystal tech merged with human quantum theory had revolutionized space travel. The Skirth hive mind networks, combined with transcendent insights, created new forms of consciousness transfer and communication. Former Supreme Commander Vaxthor, now a professor at the new Galactic Institute of Unrestricted Studies, had become one of the strongest advocates for free scientific advancement. His experience at Centauri had profoundly changed him. I spent my life believing that control meant stability, he told his mixed species class of students. The humans and the Transcendent Collective showed us that true stability comes from freedom to grow, to question, and even to fail. The Transcendent Collective had begun sharing small portions of their vast knowledge, but always with a warning. Understanding must be earned, not given. The joy of discovery is as important as the discovery itself. They revealed that humanity's quantum breakthrough had been their first test. Other species soon began showing similar potential. The Arcturians developed ways to evolve their crystalline forms consciously. The Skirth expanded their hive mind to include voluntary participants from other species, creating new forms of shared consciousness. Admiral Martinez, now leading the combined exploration fleet, coordinated the first missions into previously unexplored regions of space. We're not just pushing physical boundaries, he explained to his crew. We're pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible. The greatest change was cultural. Species that had been locked in rigid hierarchies for millennia now freely shared ideas and innovations. The former Dominion races, freed from their role as controllers, discovered their own untapped potential. Young Dominion scientists worked alongside humans, Arcturians, and others, their natural aptitude for organization helping to channel the explosion of new discoveries. On Haven, now the Center for Interspecies Cultural Exchange, Captain Sarah Chen watched ships from across the galaxy arrive for the first Galactic Science Festival. Her own vessel, the Prometheus, had been transformed into a living museum, a symbol of the revolution that had changed everything. "We thought we were fighting for freedom," she reflected, "but we were really fighting for the right to grow, to change, to become something more than we were." The Transcendent Collective's prophecy proved true. Unrestricted advancement didn't lead to chaos, but to a new kind of order. Species that discovered dangerous technologies naturally developed the wisdom to handle them through the process of discovery itself. Those that rushed too quickly learned from their mistakes rather than being held back by external control. Elder Exarthos, in his final address to the Galactic Assembly before joining the Transcendent Collective in their higher dimension, summed up the transformation. "For 50,000 years, we thought we were preserving civilization. Instead, we were preserving our own limitations. The humans didn't just show us a new way to travel through space. They showed us a new way to exist as sentient beings." As the galaxy entered its new age, the boundaries between species began to blur. Consciousness could be transferred, shared, or expanded. Physical forms could be modified, enhanced, or transcended entirely. But through all the changes, one principle remained constant: the freedom to choose one's own path of advancement. The human ships that had once fought for liberation now carried explorers and scientists to the edges of known space. Their mission was no longer to guard or protect, but to discover and share. Each new discovery brought not just technological advancement, but new questions, new possibilities, and new paths to explore. And somewhere, in dimensions beyond normal spacetime, the Transcendent Collective watched with satisfaction as their long experiment bore fruit. The galaxy's children had finally grown up, and the true age of discovery was just beginning.